Hello, hi guys, Carolyn here. It's a rainy day here in Chicago and I keep messing around with the lighting and trying to figure out the best spot in our house, and I'm just going for it. I'm just gonna do this. I really wanna share these 5 steps with you of how to create basically a forever way of eating. A way of eating that, if you wanna call it diet, you can call it diet, but more importantly, just like a way of eating that supports your goals and helps you feel healthy and energized and doesn't take a lot of time and energy. But here's the thing. I think it's a misconception or not the whole truth if we maybe say that like moderation or that you're gonna be able to create these habits and it's not gonna take that much time. I'm always about like streamlining our healthy eating habits, our exercise habits. That's like my mantra is streamlining. But let me get something clear. It takes more time and energy at the beginning to really create those healthy habits, get the frameworks in place, and to make sure that you stay successful long term. So I'm not gonna lie that at the beginning though, there is a bit more time and energy that you have to put out, that you have to invest in order to make a lasting change. So I usually see it, what I've noticed and kind of been like paying more attention lately is that it takes like 60 days. So I was gonna call this, I didn't want it to be too clickbaity, but like 5 steps to get your forever diet in 60 days or less. But basically that's kind of the gist of what I wanna talk about, is that within 60 days, I find that my most successful clients, especially when they're focusing on their nutrition, it takes 60 days, and that first 30 days is all about like the excitement, the adrenaline, something new, the shiny new object that they're working on. And then the second 30 days is all about like rubber meets the road, the honeymoon's over, and really that's where the habits either make or break. And so I want to just talk through 5 steps and kind of where they fall in those 60 days and how you can set yourself up for success. Because I think it's misleading to think that we're going to streamline and save all this time and energy, but at the beginning it does take more time. It takes more energy to create those healthy habits. And so the number one thing, the first thing I encourage people is to really pick a time that you want to focus on creating these healthy habits. That's maybe a quieter time in your life. So pick a quieter time for you and your family if you have family. So for example, that might be summer for you, or that might not be summer for you. Like for me, I'm like, I don't have any time because Ollie's home, he's not in school, I don't have as much time. So for me, that would have been a really bad time to start something new. For right now is a good time for me because he's back in school, we don't have any big projects, I don't have a whole lot going on in terms of travel. So now is a really good time for me, for instance, where I have like 30 to 60 days that I have a bit more freedom in my schedule. Or for example, I find that a lot of people generally kind of coincides with the new year and all those resolutions is January to February. Generally people have more time on their hands because if they're in the northern hemisphere, it's cold, it's wintry, there's not as many activities going on. So it just depends on where you live in the world, of course, because I work with clients all over the world, northern, southern hemispheres. So maybe winter's good for you. But just looking back, stepping back, looking at your schedule and taking into consideration when is a quieter time for you. For example, I have a client who we're about 2 months into her 3-month one-on-one coaching, and she had a quieter summer. We started at the end of summer, and that was when she had more time and energy to really invest in her nutrition in particular. She already had really good exercise habits and walking and movement habits, but she was able to, for those first 30 days, to really invest in new recipes, like pouring her energy into researching healthy new recipes, to meal planning a bit more, to just the energy and mental energy it takes to shake things up with our food and to think about and figure out how she's gonna make it work, right? How is she gonna make it work for her breakfast, her lunch, her dinner, maybe taking one meal at a time at first, figuring out breakfast, how to really nail that down with vegetables and protein and not eating too many carbs, all those things. So it took time and energy, but she had it that first month in August. And then September rolled around and shit hit the fan, literally. Like stuff just went crazy for her and her family and just got really busy. And school started and so all that stuff, and she has kids. So she was so grateful that she'd had that earlier time of like a quieter time to really nail down those healthy habits. So that's the number one thing, is I encourage you to, if you are considering it, it's worth taking the time to set yourself up for success by looking at your calendar, looking at your life and being realistic about, okay, I'm gonna have an extra at least 5 hours a week probably, thinking of it that way, just to kind of like have something, a number to start with that you need to factor in. So where's the time in your life when you're maybe gonna have a little bit more time on the weekends to meal prep and plan out your week, or you're gonna have a little bit quieter weeknights so that you can get caught up on some things. So just look ahead and just figure out how you can pick a quieter time to really nail down those habits. It just does make it easier. You don't feel quite as resentful towards it. So finding that's number one. Number two is to use that initial period. So this is during that first 30 days. Like I mentioned, it takes about 60 days. So the first 30 days, if we're trying something new, if we're switching things up, if we're trying a new program, that's when our excitement and our adrenaline is the highest. So use it to your advantage. So if you are feeling really excited, you have more energy to invest, awesome, use it. This is your time to try new things, try new recipes, try new like meal delivery programs if that's something you're gonna end up using, trying new grocery delivery options, researching those things. Awesome. You're gonna have more time and energy at the beginning because you're excited about it. Do it now. So now is the time to really use that energy of that new shiny object syndrome to use it now to set yourself up. So this is when you try and research. So research a bunch of things and try them. So I'd like to offer, like, for people who are really busy especially, and that's going to be the next one, is kind of like outsourcing some things, is to look into ways to make your burden a little less for grocery shopping, so getting the food, and making it maybe a little bit less for meal planning or prepping, and using a meal delivery service sometimes to lighten the load. But that's a great time, is during those first 30 days. The second step is to really use that time to research and try things, try methods, try new recipes. The third step is to set yourself up for success. So again, during those 30 days, the first 30 days when you have more excitement, you're just starting something new, you want to use that energy to set yourself up for success. Something just fell, sorry, scared me. Set yourself up for success for those second 30 days when it's really critical for your new habit to stick, because that's when the excitement might wear off, when life gets real, where you're not maybe as energized or thrilled with this new thing that you're taking on. So those second 30 days of the 60 days I've been talking about, that's when it really gets critical. So set yourself up for success during those first 30 days, and you've tried things, you've researched things. Now you're gonna build in the structure. So creating a weekly framework, I call it. So create that weekly framework of, okay, looking at your schedule, your life, because what I do is maybe gonna be different from what works for you, but just as a guideline, is to look at your week and create a framework of your meals. So you might know that you generally tend to eat out on the weekends. Awesome. Okay, you can factor that in. Or you want to make sure that you have your meals for the week, that you always try and take your lunch to work. Okay, so figuring that out, creating that framework, and starting to look at what you're going to need to buy in terms of your meals, and in terms of your week with your family. Maybe you know that you're gonna have a lot of activities on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, with your kids. And so cooking a meal after work is just not gonna be feasible for you. So kind of just looking at it, maybe even like drawing out a week, writing down the major activities that you know are gonna be kind of like pretty steady commitments that you have for yourself or for your family, and then map out when is convenient for you. For example, this is just a suggestion. It could be totally different for you and your schedule. But Saturday could be a really good time to sit down, go through Pinterest or your recipes or whatever you have, and just make a list. I always encourage clients to just make a list that they keep on their fridge and add to when they maybe try a new recipe, maybe try a new meal that their family really likes, and add it to that list. So trying to have like at least 10 meals that you know are pretty good crowd pleasers, that you know at least the majority of people are happy with. Because I'm not going to tell you that you're going to please everyone, because that's not reality when your little kids are involved. So, and just a little side note, my little soapbox, I really encourage families to all eat the same thing and get off the like making a meal for every single person based on what they want. So trying to get to that as a goal, it might not be hard to get there. But okay, so here we go. We got our list of our general crowd pleasers, and you have that on your fridge. So you're referring to that, maybe using your Pinterest if you use that, or just recipes that you know you like, and making a list of things you want to make for the week. So it's a little bit of meal planning. If that feels good for you, do it. If not, I also encourage just batch cooking. And batch cooking allows you to make like larger amounts that I call planned overs instead of leftovers, because it just sounds a little nicer. So making planned overs, batch cooking, things that you know are kind of staples. So proteins, maybe some whole grains, maybe prepping your vegetables, making sure you have things for salad on hand, for example, and batch prepping or batch cooking those hard-boiled eggs, having those things ready to go. And then you can create what I call mix and match meals. And literally they can take as little as 5 minutes to just throw together. And you have those components on hand in your fridge or your pantry, and you just take them out and you're good to go in like 5 minutes on those busy school nights, for example. So Saturday might be a really good time to just map out your week, look ahead, kind of see what's coming, make a list of your grocery items that you might need to buy or order. And then Sunday is either when you order it, if you use something like, of course I'm gonna forget Peapod or other delivery services, you could order it then, or go grocery shopping. Or if you know there's a farmer's market on Saturday or Sunday, going to those and getting your fresh veggies there, or whatever you can get there. So that's usually what I try and do. And then during the week, then I have some time on Sunday maybe that I'm actually batch cooking some things. So like getting a good amount of what I'm gonna need for my lunches for the week, having things ready I usually have a big ass salad for my lunch every week. So making sure I have lettuce greens or different mixed greens, making sure I have my protein from hard-boiled eggs to beans to chicken or salmon or whatever it is. Or even just having like canned salmon in my cabinet if I know I don't really have time to cook. Those are nice things to have ready. And just getting some things in place. So this is where it does take a little bit more time, right? Like I said, it's good to start these new habits when you have a bit quieter period of life, and just being really realistic about that. Trying to do one habit change at a time, and when you can, as much as you're able to, choosing periods of your life or your family's life when it's a little bit quieter, not during the middle of the holidays, for example. So, okay, so we went through the first one, that picking the quieter time. Second one, using the excitement of the new period to research and try new things, new recipes, new delivery or meal service options. The third one was set yourself up for success during that time of excitement, those first 30 days when things are really fresh and exciting, to be ready for those second 30 days when the rubber meets the road, and really have that framework in place by creating your kind of weekly routine and framework for your planning, your prep, or your planning and buying and your prep, so that you can just kind of throw together meals really quickly or have a plan in place. Okay, number 4 is when that second 30 days of the 60 days I've been talking about, like that are critical, I think, for habit change. So the second 30 days, so I just have to check my notes. What is it? Oh yeah, outsource. So outsource when and if and whenever possible. So especially for busy working moms, this is really helpful. I understand budgets are different for everyone, but just looking at ways that, okay, nutrition for you and your family is important. Where can you maybe pull something back on another area to invest so that you can have a little bit of ease, and it's like a gift to yourself, right? If you can order groceries, or maybe using some of the things like, maybe not Blue Apron, but because that's expensive, but some other ones that are out there, are trialing them, because there's a lot of ones that are very discounted for the first week or two, and just trying it as okay, does this actually help us not eat out more? Does this actually help us save money because we're not wasting groceries? And just consider that as a way of, maybe it's a bit more upfront, but outsourcing that saves you time and energy in other areas that you can really utilize that to your advantage. So outsourcing could also be something as simple as ordering the groceries, right? Instead of having to go to the store, if that's really draining for you, or far out of your way, or if you have little children and it's like a nightmare to take them, that's a huge gift to yourself. So as much as you can, outsource. One other way, this is just something to consider, is that especially women, we tend to take on the grocery shopping, the food prep, the meal making, the cleaning, all of it. So another thing that you can maybe save some time for yourself to devote more towards creating this healthy habit with nutrition can be perhaps like hiring someone to clean your house just for like an hour or two every couple weeks. If that helps you just to get the bathrooms done, whatever, I know it's a little bit different idea, but just it's a way to outsource something so that you then have time. I know it's not cheap here in the States. I got kind of used to it and spoiled in Argentina because it was a lot less expensive, but we still choose to invest in that twice every 2 weeks because it really saves me time to do things for our family, like getting the meals that we are healthy and good for us on the table, and for me to do more investing in my business and in my work. And so it's just a choice that we've made. So obviously it's personal choice, but just an idea to outsource there so that it frees up your time to cook and prepare. Or collaborating with your spouse or your partner and asking them for help, especially in that period of time when it's just critical. Those first 30 to 60 days is where that habit is really getting solidified in your brain. You're creating new like neural pathways. So if you can just include them or other people that you maybe have in your circle and list their help and just share like, hey, this is so important to me. I really want to make this habit stick. It's really important for me and for my family. And if you can support me in that in XYZ, that would be so helpful. And usually if people have a clear request like that, you're gonna get help from them and they're gonna step up most of the time. Okay, last one is to get help from outside, from someone. If you're someone that really thrives on having a bit of accountability and support, then that's where it's really helpful to maybe not go it alone, maybe hire someone like a coach or be part of a group so that you know that you have that support when things get tough or when it's harder for you to really follow through on these action steps. So trying to enlist the help of a coach, that could be anyone, it could be someone like me, or it can be a group, a support group, either with something like, even like Weight Watchers, you know, like that can be really helpful for people, or it could be something like my coaching group, the Magic Makers Movement. We really try and support each other in the healthy habits that people are implementing. And so particularly if you're someone who you know that you do better when you're accounting to someone, when you're like, someone's like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to respond to this, then you're more likely to do it than you would do something for yourself, then that would be a really good thing to just factor in if you really want to set yourself up for success. It's hard after those first 30 days when you're, I mean, how many of you guys have done a challenge, right? Like, have you all done a challenge? Whoa, that lighting just got really weird. The challenges can be really exciting. If you've done a fitness challenge or a nutrition challenge, or you've done a diet, like a meal plan, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna do this meal plan, or the whole 30, and you're like, yes, I'm really excited, I'm gonna do this. So many people do the whole 30 for January. And I had somebody ask me about it yesterday. And you guys, I'm all for it, and I was explaining to her, and I'm gonna just probably do a whole separate Facebook Live about that some other time, where I actually think that the whole 30 of those kinds of resets, similar to the one I'm doing this week, are helpful, but I'm not gonna go into that too much now. But the trick is when you stop, right? When you stop the meal plan, or when you're done with the challenge, is to switch from that excitement, the engagement, the accountability, the support, into doing it on your own. So if you know that it's really tough and you've been in those situations before and it was really hard to convert and still keep seeing results and still doing those actions on your own, then consider hiring someone. It can be really helpful to, again, for those second 30 days when it's really, really critical, to make sure you keep implementing, you stay on track. You figure out with a one-on-one coach that can really be helpful for expediting your results, or if you're in a group and you have access to asking questions and just getting support, that can be really helpful too. So let me know any questions. I'm trying this new angle for on my phone to do the Facebook Live, and they don't have any comments. So shoot me any questions though, even if you're watching this later, and I would be happy to answer them. And just always love to hear from you guys. I forgot to mention since the beginning, I have a survey that I just shared with my newsletter with the VIPs in the Body by Banner Tribe, and a few days ago on Facebook, but I'm gonna have it up until Monday. So if you haven't gotten a chance to fill out that really quick survey, it should take about 2 minutes. That would be really helpful to me, because I would love to get your feedback on things that you're interested in hearing about, ways I can share my knowledge, hopefully related to questions you have, and just make it more purposeful. I don't want to just be on social media to be on social media. I really try and monitor my intake of social media and encourage others to do that as well. So I want to make it count, what I share on here, and if you can be a little part of that, that would mean so much to me to just take a couple minutes. So I'll include that as well in the comments down below, the link to that survey when I get off. And you can, if you would mind taking that, would just really mean a lot to me. And last but not least, if you are interested at all in one-on-one coaching with me or my group coaching program, anytime, feel free to email me or shoot me a private message. I love to chat with you, so just let me know if I can be of any help or service to you. Have a wonderful day, you guys, and hopefully it's not too rainy where you are. It's really, really rainy and glum here in Chicago, and I need to go pick up my son from school. I'm not really looking forward to that rainy walk. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.